When I think of fictional characters that knit, I think of Morticia Addams. Morticia is sexy and mysterious. She rules that house. In return, we love and worship her like Gomez does.
Cara mia.
Okay, perhaps not like Gomez. But where did this lovable character come from, and why has her knitting been such a big influence? Hello fellow nerds, this is Jean, a nerd that knits, and we're looking into the knitting goddess that is Morticia Addams. I grew up on PBS and I fell in love with the sexy, dark, macabre opening of Mystery. That was a program on Masterpiece Theater. This is where I was introduced to Edward Gorey. Then from Edward Gorey, I moved on to the Addams Family. In their own way, the Addams Family is the perfect family. They are strange and different and nobody cares.
Damn you, Addams!
Well, they don't care. They're sitting around in communal areas, enjoying time together with no angst towards each other.
Wednesday.
Do they have evil intentions? Yes, but that's why we love them. Now we must remember that the Addams Family was originally a comic strip that ran in the New Yorker starting in 1938. The artist with the real last name is Addams recalls that it all starts with Morticia. So it starts with Morticia. These comics ran mostly in the 1940s and 1950s, which gave such a juxtaposition to the 1950s housewives of the time. Some people see the 1940s and 50s as the quintessential classic traditional values age. Well, the Addams Family were that, but more. They were them, and Morticia was the main character.
I am Mrs. Addams.
Morticia was the first one introduced, and then Gomez 4 years later. That would also accompany all the kids as well.
Children, we're starting!
Which is very surprising that a comic strip in that time had a main character without a male counterpart.
You always had a unique perspective on the world, Morticia.
For 4 years. If you were unsure of what the 1950s comics were like, here's a list. Flash Gordon.
Like the Flash Gordon books.
Roy Rogers, Dick Tracy, Beetle Bailey, Blondie, and Popeye. Some of these comic strips got their own TV shows and movies. I remember seeing Madonna in the 1990s version of Dick Tracy.
Tracy.
Roy Rogers had a TV show that ran from 1951 to 1957.
Hi, Roy.
Flash Gordon was a TV show and a movie.
And Flash Gordon was there.
And on and on and on. And mind you all of this happened way before DC and Marvel.
What?
So taking ideas from comic strips is not a relatively new thing. In fact, it's old school.
Little Orphan Annie. We might only remember The Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow or It's the Hard Knock Life. But Annie did not start as a musical. Far from it. Before it was a Broadway musical hit, it was a comic strip and then a popular radio show. NPR started the radio show in 1931. It ran into 1942. Annie, the musical, opened in 1977.
What was also unique about this particular comic strip was that it was a one-panel comic strip. When I say one scene or one panel, let's use a more modern-day comic strip as a comparison. Take, for example, The Far Side by Gary Larson. This was also one panel. From the pages of the comic strip, the Addams Family moved onto the television screen. The TV show was released in 1974 and ran only 2 seasons. This short run was postulated to only run 2 seasons because of the change from black to white television to color television. Remember the, Technicolor. By this time, the family morphed into a less spooky family, something a little bit more relatable.
Calpurnia Addams.
but their drama and flair was kept. This angered the real Addams that created them, lamenting that they were half evil.
Evil?
And I quite agree. The charm was missing, and they were seen more as a strange and kooky family, but what cemented from this fate would be their popularity. And in time, this fate would change, even though the real Addams wouldn't be alive to see it. In 1977, a television made for a movie called Halloween with the new Addams Family was created, mostly from the main cast. Okay, Jean, this is nice and good, but what does it have to do with knitting? Well, it's everything, because Morticia is a main character that knits. You do see Morticia knitting in the original comic strips. There are a few. But we do see a heavy bit of knitting on the TV shows, but we never really see a finished product, but that's not what I care about. I love the break from tradition. I love the random. I love the three-legged onesie. I love the dark. I love all of it. There was also an episode in the old television series where Lurch is struggling to learn how to knit. And I think every knitter understands this struggle. Perhaps we're not Lurch in this situation, or perhaps we are. Then there was a pause, and then the Addams family returned from the crypt, and my personal favorites were birthed. The Addams Family and the Addams Family Values. I personally will always love the Angelica Houston Morticia. I feel that she is the quintessential Morticia, but that's my bias for sure. So many amazing characters get introduced in these two movies, and let's not forget Pubert or Vester's wife. Oh, I absolutely love that scene. You know the scene I'm talking about, and I really, really want that bathrobe.
But Debbie.
Anywho, let's talk about Pubert. So Pubert is the third child in the Addams family clan. Yes, the baby with the mustache and kind of like the ending scene of the Family Values. Hilarious. So with the new TV show Wednesday, we are seeing the family in a new light, and I'm very happy for the resurgence. But let's not forget how it started. So how does one knit a Morticia sweater? Because if Morticia is the knitter that we know her to be, seems like a good direction to move towards. I mean, if I was Morticia, I'd probably make this top. For sure, I keep it in my closet. Yeah, it's black. She wears lots of black. It's sexy too, so, you know, she probably got it. When this sweater came out, not this one, a different one. When this sweater came out in 2019, I lost my mind. This pattern is everything, like Holy Disco Stitch. No, quite literally, that's her name, Disco Stitch. How I love this sweater. But where, when, why would I make this? All of these questions would be answered. This sweater screams to be made, especially for this particular costume. This darling designer gave us two looks, one with bell sleeves, another with a slight flare. But in my opinion, both looks are great.
So yes, this is my Morticia outfit. A lot of people will see like a deep V Morticia. Obviously a deep V Morticia does happen, but she also wears these kind of high collared Morticias, and so she also has like a bunch of different like outfits she'll wear, and you see that in the comic strip as well. There's one particular comic strip scene, I'm not entirely sure if this is before Gomez was in the picture, but she is reading a book. We'll just say Future Lurch. We don't know who he is. He seems like some kind of attendant. Somebody's serving her, I'll say Future Lurch. Future Lurch is serving her some tea. And her outfit, you can see, is a high neckline. Now, a lot of the classic Morticia we see is a very deep neckline. I love a deep V. In fact, this is a little too unsettling for me because I'm very much a deep V person. And I actually have a deep V shirt underneath this, but it's fun to play around with the Morticia costume, just like what they're doing with Wednesday. They're playing around with the Morticia costume, and I'm sorry, but I am here for the braided hair. Now, her hat was so cute, very stylized. She's giving me like Elder Goth in the newer episodes with those boots and the braided hair and the really, you know, we're going a different way with her, and I love it. Sorry if you hear the train in the background and a bunch of noises. There was a herd of high school kids in the park when I got here, and I was like, oh no, traumatizing children is not on my bingo card today, but here I am. I have a background of costuming. I don't know if I mentioned that before. We used to do costume for plays. Now, it is not lost on me that also the Addams Family is a musical. So, could you make this costume for a musical? Yes. Would your actors and actresses kill you? Possibly. Because this on stage in front of lights, hot, 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 hot. Now, I used to do outdoor theater. So this outdoors where it gets, 50, let's say it gets 50 degrees, if less, every night. I remember we did Fiddler on the Roof, and by the end of the night, people were like, thank God we're moving. Thank God we're leaving Anatevka, and we've got all these shawls and all these coats and all these wraps on because it was cold, because it was outdoor theater. It was live outdoor theater, and the stage was set in the wilderness. It was gorgeous. It was great, but you were cold, so you were very happy about the clothing that you were wearing. So if I did this play outdoors, I'd be like, yes, give me the wool, give me the knits, give me the combat boots, give me all of this. I like the way that if you see in Wednesday, there's a lot of knitted garments in her repertoire. So you can envision that her mother made her that outfit. You can think of, okay, well, Morticia knits, so therefore maybe that is an outfit that she made for her daughter. If she is such an avid knitter, she would have pieces like these in her closet. I mean, do we see the sleeves? Now I could have gotten longer, but I kind of want to use my hands. So yeah, love it though. Love it in the black. What is this? This is awesome. This is gorgeous. This is like claw-like. I might be channeling the witches. I mean, it's the same actress. Might as well. So this is my Morticia costume. How do you think I did? And let me know if we want to see some more of this theatrical costuming with the knitting.
Overall, Morticia gives off a woman empowerment vibe, especially in the Angelica Houston version of Morticia. She's unbothered, sexy, stoic, elegant, puts family first. She's just beautiful. Every woman has a Morticia side to her, and I especially love this side. So Morticia is the glue that holds the family together, and you also see Wednesday as her mini-me, at least in the two movies I was referring to. Whereas Morticia, you see Morticia in a more modern way in Wednesday. I also love that her style has been modernized. Every time we see this family, we get a new take, a new evolution, a new Morticia. This goes for other characters as well. I'm not here to talk about the aspect of the new show Wednesday because I'm one of those weird people that believe in an inclusion even if it doesn't speak to myself. Because I do believe that if it's not meant for me, it's meant for someone else. And I'm okay with that. I have a view that all of these characters live in different multiverses. So a different TV show is a different side. A different movie is a different side. It's all different. It helps me feel better about the characters. It also lets me see another side of these people. How does this Morticia deal with this situation where perhaps that Morticia didn't work well or do well in that situation. Anywho, I hope you enjoyed my Halloween costume. It's a very fun and easy costume. This costume is really pretty easy. The only downside I would ever have to say about doing any sweater for this or any character is that it's knitting in black. Knitting in black can have its drawbacks. I particularly use an Light when I knit in black. I obviously knit in black a lot, and so there's a lot of tips and tricks that you might utilize in order if you're like, ugh, knitting in black. But black's a staple in my closet, and I think that black's a staple in most people's closets. I really feel that when you make this sweater, if you make it with the long bell sleeves or even the flare sleeves, you'll be wearing it again. I mean, granted, you might not be wearing it as a Morticia costume, you might be wearing it for something else, but it is versatile. I'm sure some of you guys are like, yeah, that's what that person said about my bridesmaid dress. Not versatile at all. I'm sure that you could go Halloween as Stevie Nicks next year if you made this sweater. There's a couple of characters out there that would have no problem with a bell sleeve sweater. I've also got, you know, a bunch of characters that would be like, oh, black bell sleeve sweater, got it. So it's not like you won't be wearing this again. I swear, if you're a Halloween person, you'll be wearing it again. You know, costumer here, we will find ways to utilize this particular piece. Why? Because we love it. I also have some Maleficent horns. This would be a great Maleficent like costume as well. So let's not just think that this is Morticia. If you are planning on making this sweater, you can utilize it in a multitude of ways. I mean, let's talk about Maleficent for a second. Holy sexy villainess too. She was my first favorite. You know, you can most definitely use this for a Maleficent costume as well. And you don't even have to do your hair because she just kind of has it like pulled back and then she's got the horns. So anywho, I hope you enjoyed this episode talking about costumes that you can make, that you can knit, and you can reuse and so much fun. So happy knitting, happy crocheting, and please like, comment, and subscribe.